Mega Kashi Vishwanath Dham in all its spiritual glory. The iconic Ganga Ghats and the Kashi Vishwanath temple is finally reconnected. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself part of the grand ceremony. The grand event serves as a hallmark of flawless execution, otherwise unheard of in other projects of similar scale and scope. In India, similar initiatives, especially those linked to religious structures, tend to get embroiled in legal roadblocks as well as political controversies. What's noteworthy is how the 5,000-hectare Kashi Vishwanath corridor project had no pending litigation despite long-standing disputes in adjacent areas. Acquisition of property, vacating occupants, their rehabilitation were all completed in record time. The central idea behind the project itself, in the Prime Minister's words, was to build a magnificent pathway. Connecting the temple directly to the Ganga river. This would facilitate movement of thousands of devotees and tourists who would otherwise end up in serpentine queues along narrow paths in the streets of Varanasi. The newly opened corridor now provides unhindered access via the ghats. The first step in having the Grand Corridor built was to acquire and demolish over 300 buildings surrounding the temple. The UP government first set up the Kashi Vishwanath Development Board, which then bought the buildings at about 390 crore rupees, rehabilitated about 1,400 settlers at 70 crore rupees, and finalized negotiations. The task was further complicated as the board had to track down some owners who were living abroad. Some properties were disputed, one even had multiple owners. The project itself is worth over 900 crore rupees. Its foundation stone was laid weeks before the 2019 general election in March. In phase 1 today, 23 buildings including tourist facilitation centers, temple chowk, a museum, restrooms, food courts and other amenities were inaugurated. Its architect Bimal Patel says that about 70% of the 5,000-hectare area will have green cover. Bimal Patel is also the architect of the Central Vista redevelopment project. With today's inauguration, the Prime Minister's idea of restructuring the temple premises to reflect what it may have been like in ancient times has become a reality. It will also facilitate the pilgrimage of lakhs of devotees and tourists who come to the temple complex every year. But what's truly noteworthy is how this huge feat was accomplished free of procedural hiccups, legal hurdles, and major political squabbles.